We're on site with one of our Smith & Sons general contractors, and it's going to be an interesting one because he's going to give us a little bit of a rundown on the project, mostly through the sales procedure, because today is the first day of demolition, and you might wonder what we're demolishing, but this house is really up for an overhaul, an update, let's say. So I'd like to welcome Alex Matusak. He's our Smith & Sons Vernon South general contractor. Alex, give me some maybe background on the client, and when you first met them, what were some of their biggest pain points?
Sure, yeah. This home was, this is a fairly new home.
About four years?
Yeah, this home is about 4 years old.
Yeah.
And these clients basically wanted to more or less just personalize it and update it to their taste.
Did it surprise you when you first came and met with them, when you drove up Apex Drive here and sort of obviously knowing the layout and where it's positioned? Did it surprise you that they were going to renovate something like this home?
Sometimes, yeah. I've done a few houses where we've renovated some newer homes, but I was a little curious to see why they were going to do a reno. But usually, for them, they were more, this is something personal for them. This is not their permanent home.
Yeah.
So this is more like a vacation home for them.
Right.
And we live in the Okanagan, so they're going to make it a little more inviting for friends and family.
All right. So give us a rundown. I guess we're going to start here. We're going to hit some bathrooms. We're going to maybe hit the basement and look around there as well. What's going on in here? Because this is like a fairly, we've got stone tops, some nice appliances.
Well, it's the kitchen. The kitchen is the focal point of any home.
Yeah.
So there were some gripes about this kitchen for them. There's some spatial issues. There's some, the cabinets are not the best quality hardware and stuff like that. That the functionality of the kitchen is not the greatest with some of the appliances that were here. So basically, we're just redoing the kitchen layout. We're adding new cabinets, better functioning cabinets. And we're adding higher grade appliances in here.
What are you doing with these quartz tops today?
Yeah, well, when we do jobs like this and we have materials that that are reusable or sellable or still have value to them, we either give it to some Habitat for Humanity, there's a restore here, or we sell them. And these ones luckily we found a neighbor down the street who is the friends of the clients. They're putting in a basement suite, and it works perfectly. The layout fits for them. So it worked out for us on this one, but usually when we take out materials and that are existing and they're still decent quality and usable, we either donate them to the people who refurbish them and get rid of them.
Yep. How do you go through the design space, for this, or the design process for this space?
Okay.
What's your typical or your normal approach with clients?
Yeah, well, first we start out at what their needs and wants are, more or less what their needs are and what they don't like about the space, and that gives us a good starting point. And then we can start solving their problems on, okay, are they big, hostess kind of people or hosting people? Do they host a lot of parties? Do they not have a lot of visitors? We live in the Okanagan here, so a lot of people, their friends and family come to visit them. So a lot of the renos we do are for inviting for multiple people, bigger kitchens, big patios, adding additions with rooms and stuff like that. For these people, we started off by first of all asking what they didn't like about their kitchen. Like not many people walk into a 4-year-old home and find that we're gonna be renoing pretty much doing a full cosmetic reno. We just start asking by why. Like, what's the purpose of this reno? Why are you calling us? What are your gripes? And then we start from there, and then we start solving those problems for the client, and that then all the selections are based around meeting the needs and the wants of the
client. So how soon is it that you start talking about budgets and, because obviously everyone's interested to know what's it going to cost me? That's always the $60 million question.
Yeah. Well, we need some information before we can really get to that number, right? It's easy to say, hey, kitchen rental will cost 50, 80, 100 grand. It's very personal, and we have to get some questions about the lifestyle and what these people are going to, and then we can start off by giving a rough price, but then we kind of start that budget conversation. It's usually early and upfront, because nobody wants to waste time. I don't want to be trying to get a kitchen renovation to somebody when that's not within their budget. We do a free initial site visit. That's where we ask our questions, and that's how we came to the conclusion on this one. And then I can tell somebody if their budget is realistic or what they need to budget for what they want. And these people, we landed right into their budget expectations. and we're solving their problems. We're fixing the issues that were here in their house. So yeah, we start that budget conversation early. It's super important.
So everything that you see behind me, this is all coming out.
Yeah, all
backsplashes, the whole 9 yards.
Appliances.
Yeah.
Some appliances we're keeping on here because they have replaced them. But yeah, the whole kitchen's getting gutted. The whole flooring's getting gutted. It's all coming out. All new cabinetry. We're having a little bit of a new design in there. We're putting under cabinet lighting in the cabinets up top, and it's just there's a different feel to it. It's more of a modern cabinetry.
Contemporary.
Yeah, more modern contemporary cabinetry with better functionality, with much better functionality. So.
All right, anything else you want to talk about in this kitchen? That pretty much sums it up.
Basically, when we renovate kitchens like this, it's most of them are old and just need to get redone. Sometimes we come into a house where it was just, no one really thought of the process, and they just kind of put it together. And sometimes you get people who are particular how they use their kitchen. You get somebody who likes to cook a lot, or serve and entertain. While your kitchen kind of needs to be designed for that.
I guess this is a good cross-section, a good case study, because you don't need to have a 10, 20-year-old house to renovate when it doesn't agree with your lifestyle. And you say, no, I want to make this mine, I want to put my signature on it, this is what I want. So, we like to think that we're the builders that can do the renos on the 10, 20, 30-year-old homes, but we can also facilitate clients that have a fairly exquisite taste and want a specific kind of finished product. All right, well, what we might do is we might do a bit of a tour,
sure.
But we might just go straight to the master ensuite, and I'll get you to just show us around that and just talk about some of the deceptive behaviour, perhaps, where things look bling, but there is some serious deficiencies in that bathroom. So let's go take a look at it.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so now we are in the master ensuite, and again, it's not bad on the eye, but there's a couple of things that Alex showed me before we sort of got on camera, and they're quite hilarious. So you want to just show us around quickly, and a few of the things that you showed me before we started. Just talk about this space.
Sure, yeah. So this is the ensuite in the home that we're going to be renovating. We just talked about the kitchen there. Basically, it's not a bad job. The home is only 4 years old, but there are, like I say, there's the fixtures they put in here, that's not really acceptable in our standards for the way we do things.
Now, everyone says that you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
But that's a classic example of it looks good, and it would have been on the lower end of the pay scale, and the two don't reconcile.
No.
You get what you pay for. If you spend good money on fixtures and fittings in the bathroom, then you'll get good product.
Exactly.
But if you want to try and hack the system, it's almost unhackable.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Yeah. I'm not sure what happened when these people built the home. I'm not sure why they picked the fixtures and things that they did. But there are some things that do, like I say, stand out to us that usually show lack of experience or lack of knowledge in that area. So that item or that selection of that material should not have been there because it doesn't perform well in that environment. Like in your bathroom, you have water, it's always moist, so you don't want to really have anything that is going to absorb water and is going to be damaged. You want to stop all that water. So things like this where water can get behind it and leak behind it is an example of that.
Because a rule of thumb, after being in the game for nearly 32 years, every single piece of moisture that's inside that shower area right now should go down the waste pipe.
Sure, yeah.
None of it is supposed to be outside the envelope of that shed. It should all come down onto the floor, into the waste pipe, and discharge elsewhere.
Yeah, and there's probably you hear a lot of horror stories of tile installation jobs. There's no fix to a bad tile job. You can't rip up a small portion of your shower if it's leaking, and it really takes somebody who knows what they're doing to install one correctly. So it never leaks, it functions properly, it stays clean, and you get use out of your shower for a long period of time without being frustrated at it.
Talk to me about this bath. Now it looks like porcelain, but it's not. That's a fiberglass.
And again, we're going to look at the installation of it. That should not be happening with your tub. So again, there's things like that where, you know, you buyer beware, we say. We know you're not probably a home inspector, you know, and you can't look at everything, you know, and something like this is hard to see because you come into a 4 or 5 year old home and you kind of expect everything's done correctly. And generally it is here. It's just the finishes and some of the finishes, they're a little lower quality than they should be in a home like this, but it's fine. We do a lot of rentals like that. It's just what you want. Make sure when you buy a house and you get a home inspection. I would never buy a home without a home inspection. They usually catch all this kind of stuff, and that little bit of money for a home inspection might save you from a lot of peace of mind. You might not even want to buy the house because they might uncover something on there that might cost you a large chunk of money to fix.
And you think a building inspector would have picked up the fact that this bath is loose?
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised that is not that even is like that. But again, building inspectors, busy. They're not knowledgeable in the industry as much as we would like them to be. They're just doing their job, so they can't come in and check all the little things. So that's why we say you kind of have to do, as a customer, you have to be buyer beware and do your due diligence. Don't blindly trust, but a good general contractor will instill trust in you.
All right, well now we've got one more area in the basement, which is not as much, there's not as much work going on down there, but there's a bathroom there that we need to take a look at as well.
Yes, we do, for sure.
All right, let's go check that out. All right, well we've just come from the kitchen. We've talked a lot about this project specifically, and we've been to the master ensuite, and now what we're standing in is a basement bathroom. And this is probably more of a typical project that we might get calls, probably 2 or 3 calls a week about, hey, I've got an 8x5 bathroom and I want to get it renoed. So tell us a bit about why they're doing this. Obviously, if you're going to do that much work upstairs, while you're at it, while you're here, clients, they sort of go, hey, what about this? Let's bring it all up to the pace.
And that's exactly what was the reason why we added the extra bathrooms, is because when we were going through the reno and we were talking about ripping all the tile out of the master ensuite, I made a suggestion to them. Well, we came and looked at these bathrooms, and although their functionality is great and they're not the worst bathrooms in the world, they have some issues. So we just made a choice that exactly what Max said, since we're here doing the reno at once, and that's something I do recommend a lot of my clients to do, is sometimes, they're like, oh, well, we'll just hold off on this because we don't have a budget or we don't have the time. If you can squeak that in there, if you can do all the work at once, it's just so much more advantageous, because a home renovation is one of the most stressful things that you can go to if you're living in your home. So you kind of want to get that over and done with one time. You don't want to come back and do it over and over and over.
And I mean, the trick for builders, whilst we're doing renos, is to make it look like it was always there.
Yes.
And so the minute you have upstairs looking, magnificent, and then you come down here, this is kind of always going to be the black duckling, isn't it? So
yeah, the continuity.
And then the owners 6 months, 12 months later are saying, I wish we had have just bitten the bullet and done it.
Yeah, so again, there's another good general contractor will make these suggestions. Now, not to say you don't want somebody pushing more reno on you that you don't want to do, and that's up to you to say, hey, no, we don't want to do that. But generally, a good contractor will suggest, and will tell you the advantages, because we don't have to load up everything, get set up and take down again. So we're here at once. So sometimes we just tell the clients, hey, listen, it's not that much to do this. We give them a price, we let them know what it's going to cost and how long it's going to take, and we let them decide.
All right, folks, well, there you have it. We've just covered off a whole bunch of information, and we've really enjoyed having Alex along. Appreciate your help, man. Your insight is invaluable. Look, if you like what you hear, we'd love you to maybe like or share. And certainly, if you've got any questions about this scenario as it relates to renovations or anything else, feel free to leave a comment. If you'd like to email me directly, you can do that, max@smithandsons.ca. And we will respond to you as promptly as we can. We really appreciate your ear and your time spent with us. All the best, and we'll see you on the next show.